Hey everyone, this is Kieran. Today's exercise is looking at developing the muscles on the front of your shin. These guys in here. It includes a few different muscles depending on kind of where the force goes, but still a useful area to strengthen a little bit or just get some coordination back into after an ankle sprain. This is sort of in a progression of exercise in an open kinetic chain, which is different to a closed kinetic chain. If you're interested in that, we've got another video as well. So if you need to work on these guys on the front, then give this video a watch. So I guess with any injury, the strength loss comes from a couple things. One of it could be the disuse. So, okay, maybe I can't walk around normally for a couple weeks, or maybe I've offloaded and I'm in a boot for like 6 weeks. Then you're going to lose strength because you're not using that muscle in the same way. Or you might injure a muscle, and that muscle has to heal a bit, and you might be looking at like 6 to 12 weeks to getting some of your full strength back. So the difference between like a joint sprain and a ligament sprain and then like an actual muscle strain, the long-term solution is similar in that the exercises look kind of similar, but the time frames that when you might initiate them might be a bit different based on healing time frames. So with muscle stuff, you might be a little bit sooner than if you had a ligament strain, where you need to maybe keep the area from moving a bit so those ligaments have a chance to connect and heal. And we see that in all sorts of areas of the body, whether it's a moon boot or recently now with ACLs, they're looking at options for putting someone in a fixed knee brace for a period, and that ACL actually heals and they don't need surgery, which is pretty cool. But if we look at any exercise, the first few weeks of doing it, the strength changes, a lot of it comes from regaining some coordination. And that coordination is just skill development, right? It's like, oh, this thing's a bit unfamiliar. If I keep doing it a bit, then it becomes more familiar, and then I become more efficient at doing it. And that means more force output, more coordinated effort of those muscles. So I bring that up because we don't always see that this area has a big loss of strength. It's not clinically as common unless you have a really specific injury to the muscles at the front of the shin, whether it's a direct contusion or a forced plantar flexion. But what you do see is like an overuse scenario sometimes, or maybe just in a general ankle rehab. If we do that lateral sprain, then we need to rehab all the muscles around the area to get that coordination back. So how does this one set up? This is a nice easy option because it can be kind of hard to get some weights attached to the foot or hold a band and like do this up and down movement. You just get a little loop band or anything that's a loop, and you put the dumbbell in the loop. So there's the loop, and now it's sitting in there, kind of like a little hammock, right? This is 5 kilos. And then if I scoot back a bit, I'm just going to put that on my foot like that. And so now that weight's sitting underneath. And the difference here is I'll show you, but where the band is sitting, my toes don't have to help. So it's going to bias a bit more of that tib anterior, whereas those other dorsiflexors are your extensor hallucis longus, your extensor digitorum, the things that move your toes and your big toe up and down. And then you've got some little guys in here. So they're kind of all part of it. And you're not really isolating. It's more just about, can I get my foot up and down, okay? And you're going to do it until you get a sense of fatigue in the front of the shin. From the side here, you can see the movement is just up and down, like that. So open kinetic chains, useful to train. And then like I said, I've got a closed kinetic chain option, which I'll put a link up here at. So you can see right now 5 kilos is probably too easy for me. And where would you max out? I mean, it depends what you're looking for. More reps, I get more exposure to it. Higher weight, lower reps, I'm going to get a little more force output, more recruitment of the muscle. To fatigue, I'm going to get more of a hypertrophy response. So just something to think about. For most, sit around like 15 max. If you're going past that, might as well up the weight, get some sense of effort to it, and you get a bit of strength output. So there aren't any studies that I'm aware of at this stage that say, a certain weight should be aimed at. There's some discussion around relative to someone's body weight. Maybe a percentage might be relevant. that can be useful just to orientate someone. But what I would do more is put it in comparison to your other side. So if you have an injured ankle or an injured area down there, test out the other side and then try and get this side to be able to do that side. And then some evenness or symmetry is kind of what we're after. And you want to see that in activities that are two-legged, like running, jumping, change of direction type stuff, jump rope, things like that. So yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask below. And hopefully you get some use out of this exercise. Definitely check out the other closed kinetic chain version, the shin raise. Different skill, different way to use the muscles. So something to develop if you've had an ankle injury. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.